And we're with Congressman Rick Larsen. Congressman, I'm sure you've had some time to pore over the Mueller report a little bit, or at least, get some sense of it.
Yeah.
What are your biggest takeaways from it?
I think the first thing on the Mueller report is that it does not exonerate the president. The president said the report exonerated him. There's actual specific language in the report that says it does not exonerate him. And so therefore, the second thing I take away from it is that it does provide a foundation for the House of Representatives to continue its own investigations in the relevant oversight committees to look at the Trump Organization, to look at obstruction of justice charges. And, there's no preordained decision, there's no preordained outcome from these investigations, but I think from a constitutional perspective, we need to move forward on these investigations.
So when you mention charges like obstruction of justice, do you think you're going to get that with a Trump-controlled Justice Department?
Well, I'm not here to predict an outcome. I think what is important is that Congress exercises its constitutional responsibility to investigate the president. But it's also important to remember here that there are, I think, 5 committees doing oversight. That leaves 13 other committees in Congress who are doing other work. And the big point I want to really emphasize at home this past week is that Congress can walk, chew gum, pat our head, and rub our belly all at the same time. We can move legislation that moves the country forward on health care, on infrastructure spending, on background checks for gun sales, and we can exercise the appropriate accountability and oversight function that the people expect Congress to exercise.
Well, before I take you back to that oversight, you mentioned infrastructure. That seems to be one that there's really some cross-aisle activity. How's our progress?
I think it's going to go pretty well. We've been, the Democratic leadership has demanded that the committee that I sit on, the Transportation Committee, come up with a plan by the end of July, an infrastructure spending plan. And what I've been telling folks at home is that the president wants to keep his promises. Well, we can help him keep this promise. He promised a $1 trillion infrastructure package. As Democrats, we can help him keep that promise, and we ought to grab that opportunity, because more importantly than helping the president keep a promise, it's going to help keep a promise to the American people that we said we would do this, because infrastructure means jobs, and it means jobs here in the Pacific Northwest. So I think that we've got a good shot of moving something forward. We'll send it over to the Senate at some point. And I think once the Senate sees all the things that can be built, that ought to be built to help our country and our economy move forward, that we'll get some support in the Senate as well.
Now, you had mentioned the ongoing investigation. What's next in terms of that congressional investigation?
Well, there are 5 committees. The one committee is looking at the president's tax returns. There's another one looking at his and the Trump Organization's financial relationships with banks around the world. And then there's the one a lot of folks probably will pay attention to on the Judiciary Committee investigation, which is probably the focus of, it's going to be a focus of a lot of attention, because that's the one that could lead, when people talk about impeachment, it could lead to more impeachment discussion. But again, I just want to caution everyone. I've been home this last week talking to a lot of folks, including grassroots Democrats, and they'd prefer that we investigate the president and move forward on issues like healthcare and infrastructure. No one is screaming at me about moving forward on impeachment.
Well, and Speaker Pelosi has been, I'll describe it as hesitant to go down the impeachment road. What is your take on how she's approached it so far?
Well, I mean, I support a cautious and deliberate and thoughtful approach. If the folks who want impeachment are they're jumping to they're jumping to the destination without taking the journey right now. And Congress has a responsibility to do its own thoughtful, deliberative oversight and accountability over the president. Where that takes us is not preordained, and we need to let the facts take us where it will take us. And it might, I think, I can't think of any one member of Congress who would say that even though the Constitution says that we have a responsibility, constitutional responsibility to exercise oversight and exercise an impeachment action, I can't think of one member of Congress would say they would ever refuse to exercise responsibility if it came to that. And that's the important point, if it comes to that. Meanwhile, we have the accountability and oversight happening right now. It's important that we do that, and important that we move forward on healthcare, on lowering drug prices, on infrastructure to create jobs, and a variety of other issues that the people elected us to act on.
What do you think of censure as an alternative?
I think from a legal perspective, censure has no impact, and you can always rescind censure later. Look, we need to. I think that in Congress we need to be serious and sober and thoughtful and deliberate about moving forward on this accountability and investigation and oversight of the president. It's not preordained where it will go. We'll just take it where the facts take us.
Okay, before I let you get back on the road while we're still outside this wonderful mosque, what do you think of what you saw? It sounds like they have a pretty good relationship with their community.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the folks here at the mosque in Mount Lake Terrace. They've done a great job of reaching out to the community, and importantly, the community's done a great job of responding and reaching out to the community in the mosque as well. They have 500 folks every Friday. They've got a mailing list of 1,000 plus. I think it's a sign that it's a signal that we have a diverse community here in Snohomish County. It's diverse in faith, it's diverse in immigration, it's diverse in color, and it is here in Mount Lake Terrace. They're an example of people embracing that diversity, and that makes our diversity makes us stronger, and our unity gives us the power to move forward in this country. And that's really the great thing about good reminder about visiting today here at the mosque in Mount Lake Terrace.
Very good. All right, Congressman Rick Larsen, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot.